Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 111. We are a pop culture show that talks about pop culture things that we're interested in, and sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John, and I'm joined as always by Andrea. How's it going?
Good, good. I like your little switch up of the intro. Pop culture things that we're interested in. Very like
I,
directed.
I don't know how many years it's going to take me to like settle into this and just, all be regular. We'll see.
No,
So,
see, that's the thing though. Like you could settle into it, I think, and still, your brain is on autopilot one day and you're just like saying the stuff and all of a sudden something else will come out of your mouth.
yeah,
It's never really
right.
for sure.
hmm whatever this is and whatever becomes of it, I feel like there's valuable experience here. If
Yeah.
nothing else, like everything we do, it's still um, getting stuff out of it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a little public speaking skills, a little improv, extemporaneous.
that's true.
Hmm.
Yeah. hmm well, we're going to talk about nothing to do with public speaking later. Let's sing it. Just thinking of something, but Westworld. Westworld is back. Season
Mhm.
4 has begun, and there are currently 2 episodes available. We have seen both of those episodes, so we'll be getting into that in spoilery graphic detail later. So if you're watching along with us, we've covered. We at least did season 3,
We
and
did.
then did we do season 2? Maybe we didn't do season 2, huh? I can't remember how many seasons we've covered of Westworld on here. Maybe we just kind of
I
recap season 1 and 2?
I know we've talked season 1. I know we did. We may have skipped 2 or just done maybe like a half and half or maybe like a whole season recap. But I think
Okay,
in
yeah.
some way, shape, or form, we've in depth discussed every season of Westworld thus far.
Yeah. So, if you're into it, all that back catalog is available. Before we
Hmm.
get there, though, we have news stories, some gaming news, some
Hmm.
anime news, some various
Hmm.
things.
Yes, we're very
We've got
diverse in our interests.
absolutely. Yep. Lots of stuff went on this week, and then it was a holiday week, so we've
Mhm.
got drink holidays, right? Fun things.
We do, we do. So we have drink specific holidays. On the 1st of this month, July 1st, it was National Wine Cooler Day. John, are you celebrating National Wine Cooler Day? Some B&J. Bortles and
I
James.
I am not. I
Me
I
neither.
should be, I haven't had a wine cooler in a long time.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't think I've ever had a full one. I just
Ooh,
growing up, I remember that was one of the only things my mom would drink.
same, same. My mom was a big fan of Bartles and James. And I remember as a kid thinking like, man, I can't wait to grow up and try that, and then trying it and being like, why? Why? This is not worth it at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, as a kid, it was like, oh, my mom drinks these all the time. It's gotta be, something really good. And they're all like the fun
Mhm.
colors and flavors.
Yep.
I mean,
Mhm.
you know, they just look like big kid juice boxes or like, big kid
Yeah.
Kool-Aid was not it. I mean, sugar
I feel
content
like
maybe, but not like it didn't hit you the same. I didn't never feel like as a kid when you were like, "Oh, I love that Capri Sun," or "I love that juice box."
right.
I did not feel that way at the end of a Bartles and James.
Right. I think yeah, so we have this in common then. Our mothers drank that. I feel like
Mhm.
that's not a unique thing. When your daughter's a little older, what is she gonna be like? Oh, mom always drinks this. Are you gonna be
Ooh.
White Claws? Is that gonna be the thing that'll
Okay, so those are the things, like, hard seltzer has definitely replaced, like, the wine cooler. I
Right.
feel like, as
Hmm.
that, like, non-beer alternative, like,
Yeah.
kinda sugary something. Um, no. I mean, if, like, Everett's gonna watch me drink something on the regular, it's probably gonna be a cocktail. It's probably just gonna be like a whiskey ginger or like a gin and
Okay.
ginger or something like that. It's gonna be like a cocktail. I mean, if it's non-cocktail, maybe a glass of wine?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
see, but you're pretty cool. I think there's probably lots of people that are gonna be like, "It's the White Claw,"
Oh,
and then the
god.
kids will grow up laughing at that, like, "Ah, their parents drink White Claw." That's what I'm hoping anyways. It kinda like you say, it's gonna replace the wine cooler
I feel
that
like
we
maybe
was
by the time.
drank very unironically before, and now,
Right. I feel like maybe canned cocktails could be the new hard seltzer
okay,
at some point,
okay.
you know? Because people are kind of looking for like something that's not labor intensive. You can just like grab, throw in a cooler, bring to a like, a camping trip or a cookout or whatever. Maybe it's the canned cocktail.
Yeah, and they make some good ones of that. See, I couldn't laugh at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And that at least is like, I don't know, it feels more legit to me. It feels like it's holding water, but you never know. You never know what's coming next. We could have a total resurgence in the future, go retro, throwing it back to the wine
Yeah,
cooler, the Bartles and James. That'd be hilarious.
it's or, Zima? Yeah, wasn't that back
Zima.
for
Oh
just a
my
little bit?
god. Yes. That was a flash in a pan. Ooh. I forgot about that.
Yep, that's alright. Alright, well, so no, I am not celebrating wine cooler day.
All right. Well, I've got another one for you. July 2nd, it was National Anisette Day, which is a
Okay.
liqueur. Are you celebrating this holiday, John?
Nope.
Nope, me neither. Okay,
Nope.
moving on. I'll go backwards before I go forwards. Uh, at the start of July, it was also deemed National Ice Cream Month. And I'm saying this because I was like, I want to add this because I've never had like an adult milkshake. I know they're out
Oh,
there
yeah.
and I've heard great things. I've never had one and I was going to make one for tonight and then just kind of like ran out of time. Couldn't quite get to it.
Mm.
But I was really excited. At some point this month, I feel like I'm going to be appearing on the show with a boozy milkshake. But
Well,
it
I
is
tell
not
you what we
tonight.
should do. We should figure out a time, and we can go with Mall of America, and you can get some Pokemon, and then we can go to Wahlburgers where they have boozy shakes.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down. I've never tried Wahlburgers on the whole either. So, yeah, a lot of
It's
firsts for me.
yeah, I feel like the reason to go to Wahlburgers is for the boozy shake or whatever.
Really? Okay.
Because yeah, because
Bold
the other
statement. I
stuff I've
like
tried
it.
is like okay,
Okay.
okay.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I feel like I kind of want to try, you know,
right,
not
yep,
like everybody get out of my way, I must go, but just for the experience.
yep.
I promise this isn't my drink
Um,
also, by the way. It's just my
okay,
water.
that's good.
So the last holiday adjacent holiday that we have is, of course, this weekend it was the 4th of July, the USA Independence Day. So I say a holiday adjacent holiday because it's not technically a drink holiday, but people tend to do some drinking on the 4th of
Yeah,
July.
no, makes
So,
sense.
did you have anything fun on 4th of July? Have a good celebration? Do you have a good drink that maybe you're bringing back for the show tonight?
Um, I I only had 1 beer, I think. Got 1 beer, and it was a German beer. It's a
Okay.
German,
I approve.
like,
I approve.
yeah, yeah, you would like this one for sure. It's very
Mhm.
old. My dad picked him up, and I wish I could remember what it was. I know I
Mm.
took a picture of it, so I will keep kind of monotonously talking until I find my picture of the, beer. There it is. Okay, so,
Hey.
it's a Spaten Optimator Doppelbock.
Okay.
So I will. There's what it is.
Oh my gosh, I recognize that label for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But but
Yep,
it was
there it
very good.
is. Okay.
Yep, it was very good. So, how about you? I am not drinking that either. I one of those.
Okay. So yeah, so I'm not celebrating any of the official holidays. On the 4th of July, um, I had actually a couple margaritas.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. That
Yep.
seems
I was at
perfect.
Yeah, it was. We were outdoors, kind of picnic style dinner and yeah, nice fresh margarita sounded really good. So that's what I had. Okay, also had at a specific friend's house, they are the ones who introduced us to Jepson's Malort,
Oh God.
and
Okay. Yep.
they make a bourbon now. And they brought that back, so we all had to try the bourbon.
Okay.
And and I mean, it tastes like bourbon is what I can say for it. It's not
Okay.
terrible. It is
Okay.
not Malort, which is just like if rubber bands and tar and a pine tree had a baby. Um, no, I mean the bourbon was fine, but it was very like I went into it very cautiously because I was like, "Oh my god, what am I getting myself into?" But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad.
If Renata was here, he would protest again.
Against
It
Malort.
was yeah, it was against your take on it. If I recall, he was a big
Yes.
proponent as a
Yes.
Chicago thing or
It's
something.
it's it's one of those things where once you've done it, you sort of feel this weird affinity towards it because you've made it to the other
Yeah,
side.
yeah, yeah.
And you're like, "I did it, and now everybody has to do this because it's ridiculous." Like, you have to know what this is. You have to
Mhm.
live through it. So you weirdly feel like some sort of affection for it. But yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
So
Stand in
bad.
solidarity with the others who have made it.
You
Yeah.
do. You do. It's really a bonding experience. Um, Nothing will bond you faster.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's their bourbon was fine. It was all right.
Okay. All right. Well, margaritas, that sounds perfect for the 4th.
It was
Um,
it was delicious. I loved it. We also tried Casamigos tequila for the first time.
okay.
N- Not a good sipping tequila.
Okay.
Sorry, Clooney. Not. It's
Huh.
got a sweet start and a bitter end.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah, I've
if you've
never
tried it
had that.
before, but I
No.
wasn't. Yeah, no, I wasn't a fan.
Rocks got him beat, huh?
Ah, yeah. You found my bias. Oh no.
Yeah. I almost bought
True.
oh, go ahead.
Truly, yeah, I was just gonna finish. Truly, not even considering like if I wanted the rocks tequila to beat it.
Right.
It's just not a sipping tequila. I didn't think.
Sure. Mhm. Mhm. I was gonna buy a piece of rock, um, like, clothing the other day.
Like
I was
the
in the
Under
store.
Armour Project
Yeah,
Rock.
yeah,
Yeah,
uh-huh, and, I liked it. It was, like, kind of a zip-up thing I could use another of, but it just was too expensive. Everything was on sale
sure.
there except for the rock stuff, basically, of
Of
course,
course.
so it's
Yeah,
like I didn't love it that much,
I
so
hear ya. I hear ya. Yeah, I'm kind of scoping out the Under Armour outlet to see when some Project Rock gear might go on
ah,
sale.
yeah. Yeah, actually, she actually has a few things. She definitely has some shorts and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Seems good quality, so
Yeah, yeah, it's well made. I mean, if it's more expensive, you hope it's worth the price, and it seems to
yeah.
be.
Mhm, mhm. Alright, well, what are you drinking tonight then?
So, I am drinking a cocktail tonight in honor of what we're going to be talking about, Westworld.
Nice.
Um, but if I say the cocktail and why I'm drinking it, it might be giving a
Mm,
spoiler away.
okay. Alright, well, why don't we that's a cliffhanger. You can drink it. Obviously,
Okay.
we'll see it, but
Yes. How
why
about this?
it's
I will explain it later. It is a cocktail I'm calling the Fly's Eyes
oh,
because of Westworld, but it's
okay.
based on a cocktail from a certain period in time.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Fitting glass then too, so
Indeed, indeed.
mhm, mhm.
Cheers. What have
Yeah,
you got?
cheers. Mine is not as fancy looking. It's
Mhm.
a big Collins glass here. It's I don't have what is it? Triple sec and stuff to make margarita, but this is what
Mm,
I've got on hand. So it is the rocks tequila and
nice.
lemon juice and simple syrup. And then we have these we have like this for the fourth, Ashley made like fruit pizza cookies. It's
Yeah.
like a sugar cookie with like cream cheese frosting kind of thing or whatever, and then fruit on
Cut
it.
up fruit,
Fruit
yeah.
pizza. Yeah. So got white
Good stuff.
peach and blackberries, strawberries, and all stuff. I just threw a bunch of fruit in there. So it's just a fruity tequila drink.
Love it.
Mhm.
Love it.
I figure if it with the fourth, it feels summery and bright,
That's right.
refreshing. So yeah.
Well, I
Well,
will tell you
nice.
what is in my drink without
Okay.
again saying it. So
Okay.
it's gin, lemon juice, and a honey simple syrup.
Okay. Honey. I mean, it's bees, flies.
Mhm.
Mhm, mhm.
You
Okay.
might be onto something there.
All right. Well, nice. Our weeks. So we're talking about the fourth. Some fun things happening there. Did you
Mhm.
you make it to fireworks, or they were just background fireworks to just scare the living bejesus out of your kid?
Option B,
Okay.
just background fireworks to scare the living bejesus out of my kid. Poor girl. Um, yeah, I feel like she'd seen fireworks before because people have been setting them off kind of all week and stuff. And when she can see them, she's fine. She doesn't like
Right.
love the noise, but what little kid does. But yeah, our neighbor in back set off like a stream of sparkly, firecrackery fireworks, and yeah, Everett was not a fan. But she actually wore herself out. The friends we were visiting have 2 dogs, and she just, like, ran
Oh,
around playing with them. She had a ball. She had so
nice.
much fun. And then she literally, like, ran around chasing the dog ball that we were throwing for the dogs. She would
Oh
go
boy.
run to
Yep.
see if she could pick it up first, and then she would pick it up, and the dogs would be after her, and she's just like, "Blah!" Um, yeah, so she just wore
Nice.
herself out, so we did not make it to fireworks, but
Well, that's good
it was
there.
still a fun day.
Yeah, it's good. The dogs are good with playing with her. It's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. No, it was a good introduction, and yeah, they were very chill about including her in their fun games. So,
Hmm. Nice.
yeah, it just kinda solidified that we need a dog.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and I wonder if you can like going to look at dogs, bring her
Mhm.
along and see how they react and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we've marked a couple of shelters that have some open houses or, like, open, kind of adoptable events coming up, so we'll see.
You should get a Frenchie because we want Dobby to have a Frenchie friend because they're so
Okay,
cute.
I actually so we talked to a shelter that had a Frenchie mix
Mm,
that seemed like it was gonna be, like, a good size, was active so it could go on runs with us,
mhm.
and they were very like, you have a small child. We don't think this is gonna work."
Oh,
And
really?
so
Oh.
yeah, so then I was like, "Okay, well, thanks. I guess we'll look at other dogs." And then suddenly the foster mom was like, "Just kidding, like, come to an adoption event and meet her, like, maybe it'll be different than I think." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. Huh.
So, we'll see. We might go meet her, um,
Okay.
this coming weekend, but yeah.
I didn't know it worked that way, but I suppose that makes sense. If you foster an animal, like you might have people come check. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And I think there's a lot of, caution in the adoption community right now because a lot of people adopted animals over COVID, and then we're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, now restrictions are lifted. Just kidding. We don't need this animal."
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
they're getting a little picky about, who can really adopt animals, but
Yep.
we'll keep trying.
Yep. Cool. Well, looks like you managed to fit in a few shows throughout the week too, huh?
Yes, yes. Yeah, kind of got a variety of things going on right now. Chris and I started Kenobi. We saw episodes 1 and 2. And then that was immediately put on pause when Stranger Things came out because we had to finish the season of Stranger Things. I had no idea it was just going to be 2 extra episodes kind of feeling a little cheated that it was only 2, but then I saw, like, the length
They're
of the
long,
last
yeah,
one. Yeah, and it was, like, 2.5 hours, so, alright.
right.
But we finished
Crazy.
Stranger Things.
Okay, now hold on.
Okay.
Pump the brakes. I need to know about Kenobi. What are your thoughts? I'm asking everybody that's watched Kenobi. I've followed this show because I'm interested, though I'm not watching
Yeah,
it, and so I've been very intrigued in what everybody's come away with
sure,
thinking.
sure. I mean, the plot thus far works. There are no, like, gaping holes for me. I'm only 2 episodes in, so, I can't
Mhm.
comment on the entirety of the season. Ewan McGregor, nailing it so far. The villain who's, like, obsessed with finding him, the Inquisitor, um,
Reba.
yeah, her dialogue is real heavy-handed, and it's real forced to me.
Mhm.
Her character, I'm just not feeling what's going on with her, and everything just feels, like, awkward, and
Okay.
some of her dialogue has got me just like, "What is this?" Um, it's fun to see. Boy, I don't think this is spoilery, because it's, like, right away. So, apologies if it is, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's fun to see Leia woven into the storyline,
Mm.
um, but I'm not, again, not really a fan of the little kid actress who plays her. And I
Okay.
don't wanna be mean to kids, but I just don't think she's doing a great job.
I've heard that as well. I've heard that she is one of the flaws in her writing is that they're writing a much older person for a child that age.
Yes. Yes. And
It's
I think
like
it's supposed to be that
kid
she's, like, insikeful, but it's not
right, it's
coming
too
out
much.
right. It's
Mhm,
too much for a kid that age, I think.
right.
Um,
So,
'Cause I mean, she looks fine for the part, and there are
yeah,
moments when it works. Um, but yeah, that I'm not really a fan. I think they're writing, yeah, too heavy dialogue for her. Um, there's a whole moment where, like, she suddenly mistrusts Kenobi, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not sure I'm buying this motivation here."
mhm,
So, there are some motivation problems that characters have for me, and that's troubling. Um, but yeah, Ewan's killing it, and we're just about to get to Vader,
sure,
so I'm excited about that.
okay, okay. Yeah, it's been really
So
interesting
far it's
hearing
fine.
everybody's, takeaways.
Mhm.
I talked to Pete, and he was, the only person I've heard that loved Leia.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like and I was like, "Wow, I haven't heard that one yet," but, okay,
There was a moment where she, like, had a speech, and I was like, "Yeah." Like,
sure.
there have been
Should
some
she have been, like,
moments.
5 years older or something?
Yeah. Yeah, and I get it, she's young, and, like, you gotta save, like, the young kids, and there's, like, appeal there of, like, Obi-Wan coming out of retirement and, like, being all crusty and, like, little kid, heartwarming. I get it, but I didn't think it needed to be this forced.
You mean like, Mandalorian and Baby Yoda?
Yes, Baby Yoda with words.
Yeah, mhm. So, I mean, like, the exact same thing? Yeah,
Yeah, no, like, the
mhm,
exact same plot device.
mhm,
Yes. So,
okay.
yeah, I mean, I get it, but I think it would have worked, the dynamic would have worked just as well if Leia was older.
Well, I definitely have,
They
based on
did
the story go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, they did do to, like, set up Kenobi, they did a great recap of the first 3 movies. Like, the
Okay,
important bits of everything, and they tied things in. The way they, like, introed all of that, like, stellar job.
okay,
So,
nice.
props there for an epic recap.
Well, I think when you're done watching it, we should do a even though I haven't seen it, we'll do a little spoiler talk. If we wanna have
Mhm.
anyone on for it or whatever, we can, otherwise, just get your thoughts on it and stuff.
Chris and I are
Um,
also, like, watching The Mandalorian right now, so it's a lot of Star Wars in our household right now.
Okay. All right. All
So
right.
we could have
So,
a Disney Star Wars, like, bonanza.
oh God, I can't imagine a worse thing. I just don't even know. Like,
John's
that
like,
sounds
"My
like
nightmares
torture.
tonight will be plagued."
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
me
I'll just
whispering
be
in your ear,
uh
"Disney Star Wars bonanza."
huh.
Just wake up in a cold sweat.
Yeah.
"Actually, help."
Yeah. That's that's likely. Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. Nice.
So, yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. The episodes I watched were fine, but definitely flawed.
Mhm. What I've gotten gathered from a lot of people is that it seems to me that the people that are enjoying it most are either kind of more casual Star Wars fans, or they just really want to see cool looking Star Wars stuff. They really want to
Mhm,
like it. Like, it just, you're used to liking Star Wars, you really, really want to like it. So anything kind of flashy and cool you get is
mhm.
enough for you to make it feel worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly fun moments. I mean, like I said, I can't say anything negative about Ewan McGregor's performance, so it's fun to, like, see him get back to this character.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
they do give him some really great moments to shine so far. I'm obviously looking forward to Vader. I There's fun in building out some of the world, and, like, seeing Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru and, like, building out some of that world and, like, getting these background feels of, like, that was, like, in the original movie, and, like,
Sure.
there's, like, this is how this works. It's kind of a fun, like, behind the curtain sneak peek almost,
Yep.
but, that can only sustain a show for so long.
Right.
Um, so I am worried going forward.
Well, and I think that's part of what they've run into, that hiring people that largely don't exactly really know what Star Wars is about. So to them, it's all about adding in the lines like, I've got a bad feeling about this, or
Mhm.
hello there from, or like just adding different the things, the
Yeah.
dialogue pieces, or the reoccurring always we do this. And it just
Yeah.
it's so cheap at this point. It's not
Right. Right.
it
Those things
just
are
feels
special when you use them sparingly. You can't
yeah.
just, like, sprinkle them in wherever and be like, it's so
Mhm.
great." No.
So they're dying on this where it's, instead of like branching out and just leave that behind, because they don't know what else Star Wars is.
Mhm.
It's laser swords, right? It's laser swords in space and these silly lines here and there. Like, it's not,
Mhm.
they're used to the imagery, but like, what does that mean? Where did Star Wars
Right.
come from? What are its inspirations? Or talk old samurai films, or
Mhm.
Flash Gordon, or like these things, and what makes those, so we can understand what Star Wars should be.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people are missing it.
Right.
So, um, and another show, huh? Got another one going here yet?
Yeah, yeah. So I finished season 4 of Stranger Things, closing that out. We must talk about it at some point.
Okay.
There is a moment in the last episode that was, like, clearly written just for me.
Okay.
Um, so we need to talk about it. But yeah, so I also, speaking of season 4, I'm in, like, season 4 on everything: Westworld, Stranger Things, and also finally getting back to a show Chris and I watched a long, long time ago. There was a gap between the third and the fourth season, and we're finally getting back to it. The Good Place on
Okay.
Netflix, with
Oh,
Kristen Bell as the
was that always on
headliner.
there? That was on Netflix?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it's always been
All
on
right.
Netflix. I mean, not when it aired. It's not a Netflix produced show,
Okay.
but
Yeah, it came out on like
it's
ABC or something, I thought.
yeah, yeah. So it was like a main channel sitcom. And then they put, like, seasons 1 through 3 on there while we were waiting. There was kind of a big gap. I don't remember why, between 3 and 4. I don't know that it was pandemic related or not, but I couldn't say for sure because
Sure.
honestly, at this point, I'm kind of forgetting. Um, but yeah, season 4 came out and we just, like, didn't quite get to it. And now we're like, yeah, let's break up some of our serious stuff with a little lighthearted comedy.
Yeah.
And the show is just as good as I remember. It's definitely once I got back into it, I was like, oh, I remember the feel of it. I remember like the jokes here. I'm glad this is like the final season because it's one of those shows that's really great in a short, contained arc. And
Hmm.
that's what it is.
It's nice you can have something that kind of knows when it should end and to get to a fourth
Yes.
season and still be consistent. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So it's a very funny show. If you've never tried it out, highly recommend. The performances are excellent, tight storylines. They have clear goals in mind. Good show.
Alan posted a GIF here. Um,
Ooh, what does he got for me?
I haven't seen Kristen Bell in anything in a while. She's
Mother forking shirt balls. Yes.
funny.
Called it.
Nice.
Yes, if you don't know the premise, there is no swearing when you're in the good place. So they
Oh,
have a lot of like alternatives that are closed so you can sort of like
sure.
get props to the cast for just incorporating these like screwball words like they're, supernatural into their
Right.
dialogue. It is hilarious.
Nice. Cool.
So, yeah, I've been
Um,
busy.
yeah. No, that's great.
How about you?
Yeah, I feel like I've watched more than I have, I guess. On the 4th, it was kind of like we didn't know this was before the 4th, and we just like, okay, we're not really doing 4th of July things so much. So really we decided to have some family over. Um, we grill, that kind of thing, and
Mhm.
then did that the night of the big fight. So UFC 276 was
Ooh,
Saturday, and it was
okay.
a really stacked card. Um, and we had never paid for a pay-per-view before on one of these fights. So it's like, all
Mhm.
right, we're gonna get one. This is a big one. Let's do that. And so yeah, later in the night we sat and watched fights. Um, the
Good fights
main
worth the
event,
pay-per-view?
uh, a couple weeks ago, I saw better fights. So yeah, it could have been better.
Sure.
It was good. They were important. Some championship belts handed out there. The main Adesanya fight was less than amazing for me.
Mm,
But some of the ones leading up to it were pretty fun. So
okay.
yeah, I'm happy we did anyways. Won't be buying another one for a little while. We
Mhm.
usually just, like I say, wait the few weeks and watch it. But um, yeah, it was fun to get together for that, and then been managed to watch the Westworld, as we
Mhm.
talked about. A little bit of Hunter and Dragon Ball here and there, but then really I spent more of the week reading. So I
Okay.
finished up Hell's Paradise, which
Mhm.
on our like sister show here reviewed, so you can check that out. Um, also finished, I don't know how to say it still, Aposimz, and it's
Oh, sure.
by the author of one of my favorite mangas, Blam, and it had been on break for quite a while. I read the first 8 volumes last year or something like that, and then it was saying the next volume wasn't coming till this summer. So it just came out like 2 days ago, and I didn't realize it was gonna be the last volume. Um, so I'm guessing it maybe didn't do all that well because
Mm,
unfortunately the end felt rushed. Um,
that's a
it
bummer.
yeah, it ended. I feel like how he probably always imagined it was going to end. It just got there quick.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, I was a little bummed out by that, but it was worth reading anyways. And then I don't know how to say this either. It's definitely said a little differently in Japanese, but it's not a Japanese word. So Gleipnir. It's
Okay, yeah.
a
That'd be
it's a
my best guess
Nordic
too.
word. Yeah, it's a Nordic word, and it is means open one. It's the binding that holds the mighty wolf Fenrir in Norse mythology. So
Ooh, cool.
yeah, but basically, there's this manga. There's also an anime of it now, but it got cut short, so people are wondering if there's going to be a season 2.
Okay.
Anyways, I read the manga. I am current on this, which I think is 10, or I think it's 11 volumes at this point. And I almost thought this was going to be the end, but this one is clearly going to continue. So
Okay.
I really, really got into this. I it it had, for however it pulls me into, gives me the proper vibe of Japan. Like
Mhm.
I feel it when I'm reading it. And then it's got a fair amount of fan service. It's definitely a more adult, deals with some monsters and stuff. Has some similarities to Darling in the Franks, actually,
Mm. Okay.
um, in interesting ways. But I really like it. And when I was done, because I don't know when the next volumes come out, sometime this summer. When I was done, I was kind of in that post, like reading a book haze where I can't pull myself out of it yet. Like there needs to be
You want
more
more,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, pretty invested in this one. I'm trying to decide now if I want to watch the anime, but maybe I don't if they're never gonna finish it. I don't know. So but yeah, Gleipnir manga, good stuff. So I guess like what it's about is this kid that can transform into a monster. I don't know how much
Mhm.
I want to give away. He can transform into a monster, and this is just the very first bit. He saves this girl that was gonna die in a fire, and they kind of become partners and realize that his transformation into a monster is really like he transforms into a mascot suit. He looks kind of like a big headed mascot thing, and it's like
Okay.
okay, whatever. But he didn't realize there's a zipper on his back, and
Oh.
so she unzips it. It's empty, and she can get in, and so she does. And it's kind of like a kind of where this is where it gets some Darling in the Franks sort of stuff, where they use it is kind of sexual in a way, but it's sort of like a bonding experience. They can kind of see each other's memories and stuff, and kind of feel
Interesting.
what each other can feel a little bit. And I don't know. That's
I
just the
mean,
premise I'll like initially
can
set up.
she direct him then while she's inside it, or is he still,
Yes.
like, in charge?
No, there's a little bit of both, but mostly she's kind of in control when
If
she's
she's
inside.
inside the suit.
Yeah, she can
But when she's
override him.
not, I got okay,
Then
alright.
he's yeah, yep. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
Mhm. So, I'd recommend to any adult out there that likes, wants to see some monsters or something like that and a well-written story, as long as you're okay with the nudity involved, nudity and blood. So,
Sure.
yeah, that's been my week. It's been my week. Um, news.
News.
Um, I should probably start being I ended with that. Talk a little bit of anime news.
Let's do it.
Bleach. Bleach
Oh
is coming
my.
back. There's a trailer out there.
Oh my god. Just what I need to feel like I'm never, ever, ever gonna finish this freaking series is more of it, for God's sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I
I
really
mean,
like it. I do. I'm like feeling like I got to the top of a mountain in which it felt manageable to climb. I'm looking up and I'm like, oh, just kidding. There's like a whole nother
right.
mountain over here.
Right. hmm
So, I mean, exciting, but also, come on, Bleach.
I really don't know if I'm going to go back to it or not,
Sure.
because I never watched all of the anime
Mhm.
either. I watched what I would consider is enough,
Mhm.
you know. Um but I don't know. It should just be done, I think.
Mhm.
So it's I mean, it's kind of one of those things like in Japanese culture for these things, that's what we get. We get long runs of things or whatever, and
Like
then we'll
one
often
season.
get yeah. but then sometimes we'll get a big break and then they'll come back,
Yeah.
whereas in the West, it's like it's going to continue forever, but it's going to change hands a lot.
Yeah.
So, which way you want to do it, I don't know, but I just think that Bleach was already done enough before that
Mhm.
I don't think like if we have one more season and this was amazing, they put a lot of work into it. This is the
Sure.
definitive ending. But if we're just starting again to
Just
just
yeah.
go on, no.
No, thanks. No,
Yeah.
thanks. I mean, obviously there's going to be people out there who like love Bleach and are just like it could go on forever. They're kind of in the mode that you're in where you like end something and you're like, ah, I just need more.
Yeah.
There's always going to be those people, but I don't know, for like mainstream bulk of people, yeah. Either make
Mhm.
this awesome and just crush it in like a season or two, I'll even give you,
Yep.
or just don't, please.
Yep.
Because you're just gonna make people like me feel like we can never ever finish Bleach.
Well, I guess I should have like looked up if because last time I was trying to read some Bleach, which I think is what
Mm,
this is based on now,
that's right.
and I don't know how long they kept that going. Like if that was the
Sure.
last arc there, and so this is going to be that, and then it's done, or if that kept going too. So yeah,
Yeah, we'll potentially find out.
yeah. More anime. Trigun Stampede. We mentioned it the other week. It was announced. Now we have a trailer for it.
Mhm.
Did you get to
I
check to look
did.
see?
It looks cool. Like, I'm in.
Okay. Well,
You're
okay.
not? I
No,
don't know.
I'm
I
not
mean,
in.
I've never seen any
Yeah.
Trigun, and
Right.
so this trailer to me looked great. So I was like,
This is
cool. I'll start watching Trigun.
sure. Yeah, it definitely made for you. It doesn't to me look made for me or fans of the
Sure.
original. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I'm never a big fan of the CGI look, anyways.
Hmm.
Um, I kind of like I kind of like the redesign of Vash. I think it's kind of cool, but
He looks
yeah,
awesome.
once I saw the trailer, I'm like, no. When I was intrigued before, I'm really kind of out now.
You're off put. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love Vash's whole like vibe. I dig all of it. Like his outfit, his like mannerism that from what I could see from the trailer, like I dig it. It's very like I don't know, steampunk, cowboy, western
yeah,
craziness
yeah.
and I don't
Yeah.
know, I just dug it.
Okay. Well, maybe we end up maybe you watch this and then the original,
Yeah,
and then I watch
see
this,
how I
meaning
feel.
I've already watched the original. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we could come at this from like two different approaches. Yeah,
Mhm. Mm.
I'd make
Yeah, it
that
just
deal.
it unfortunately, like I say, it set off on a wrong foot for me just with the CGI look, but
Sure.
if it's really good, I can get past that, but yeah.
Well, and yeah, I mean, who knows? I have nothing. I have no background in Trigun.
Mhm.
I have nothing. I mean, obviously, you explained a little bit of the story. You kind of explained like the feel of it, and now
Yep,
I've watched a trailer for this. That's literally the sum total of what I'm bringing to the table.
yep,
So who knows what I'll think?
yep. Well, let's jump over to gaming now. I don't think this would
Okay.
have been a Trigun video game. There has that would have been great for a transition, but I don't think there has been. So, Xbox they announced some new
Hmm.
stuff, some updates to their cloud gaming. I really just wanted to mention particularly one thing about this because
Yeah.
it was everybody's been talking about this being the case, and it looks like it's going to be now. They're going to have the Xbox app on
Oh yeah.
2022 Samsung televisions.
Hmm.
So that's um, that's great. I think that's definitely the future. Just like every TV comes with most of the streaming services for video, I think all the gaming ones will be on there too. So you just grab your Xbox controller, hook up to your television, and away you
Yeah.
go.
I was kind of pumped about that because we're potentially in the market for a new TV. So I was like,
Oh,
hmm,
feature to keep an
well,
eye out for. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It's because I don't know if I said on the show or not, but I tried the cloud gaming again recently
Hmm.
um, on my phone with a controller attaches to it. I tried the Ninja Turtles game, and it worked really
Mm,
well. It worked
mhm.
quickly, seamlessly, because I always every few months, and I've
Right.
been kind of disappointed by it, historically. And this last time I tried it, it was really smooth, snappy, and clean. So hoping they're
Awesome.
really getting on top of it and ironing out the creases. So
Mhm.
yeah. Um, Nintendo finally had it. Nintendo Direct. It was a Direct Mini
They
partner
did.
showcase. So some people were upset by that, but
That it was
they
a
set the
mini?
expectation. Well, that they were just hoping for a proper full Nintendo Direct that was featuring their first party
I see.
titles.
I see.
Um, yeah, but we got this instead. Did you manage to watch it or a number of the announcements or?
Yeah, I did actually watch most of it. I didn't get all the way through it, but I watched most of
Yep.
it.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
had
How did it all?
apparently other things to watch this week.
Yeah. What'd you come away thinking?
I mean, it's fine. Overall as a presentation, like, it's nice that it's short, it's snappy, there wasn't, any middlemen kind of running around doing a lot of explaining.
Yeah.
I could have maybe used 1 or 2, like, intros to things,
Okay.
just some explainers or, like, "Dun, dun, dun, big reveal."
Sure.
Because sometimes it just, like, revs up the
World
excitement w
exclusive.
Yeah, little
The Xbox thing. Yeah.
nice. Yeah. Just like a little like ramp up for some excitement. So that was kind of like because things would just like flow into one another sometimes. I was just like, whoa, like we're into the next thing.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it was good. Like I said, kept it tight. I love something that like, is just gonna put out like a little half hour, like, here's some fun stuff, check it out. And we got some dates for things. So yeah, good job.
Cool. Yeah.
Couple games I'm excited about.
Yeah. What stood out?
Mario and Rabbids.
Okay.
Spark of hope. Because I mean, who doesn't love anything Mario? And I've always loved, like, the weird little rabbits.
You like
So,
rabbits? They're very
I do.
controversial, I feel like. It's one
They
or you either like them or it's like, God, they're annoying.
Yeah, I'm one who likes them, so
I
I
thought they were
fall on
cool,
that
yeah.
side.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
um, what was the couple of the other ones that I thought was fun? Oh, Sonic Frontiers was fun in a, like, this is a very different world that I'm used to Sonic being in.
Mm. Yeah.
I haven't you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, the world building of Sonic Frontiers was very different look than what I'm used to playing Sonic in, so that was kinda fun.
I have to say, you just triggered me in a kind of funny way. So, no, it's not what you're thinking, probably. So, I had this, I listened to a few people that say a lot, "You know what I mean?" It's, just, like, kinda end their sentences that way. And so now
Sure.
every time I've made a habit of it. Every time someone says, "You know what I mean?" I say, "Yeah, I know what you mean." Like, if I'm listening to a podcast and they can't hear me, I say, "Yeah, I know what you mean." And it's just like, so you said it there, and it was
And you
very
were
hard for
like,
me to not
tip of your
say,
tongue,
"Yep,
just
I know what
I
you
know
mean."
what you mean.
Yeah. I understand it's, like, generally speaking rhetorical, and it's just like,
Yes.
but it's I've just noticed more and more people saying this now, and, so yeah, so or make you self-conscious about it now.
I know, gonna watch my words now. Boy, you know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Just gonna place that now going
Mhm.
forward, be very
Yep.
specific about it.
I'm gonna get Alan a button so he can push we'll have a graphic. I know what you mean every time. Yep. So, well, yeah, I thought, Sonic Frontiers is gonna be interesting. I really intrigued to see what comes of that, how that's
Agreed.
received. Um, it's like really haven't had a good Sonic game that wasn't sort of a remake or something,
Mhm,
um, for a long time.
mhm.
So it would be interesting. Yeah, here Alan posted, "Do you know what I'm saying? Butters from South Park." Yes. Mhm.
Oh,
See, but
that's a
I don't
throwback.
I don't respond to that. It's gotta be, "Do you or do ya know what I mean?"
Or
Right,
you know what I mean.
yeah, you know what I mean, right. Mhm.
Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely. I do know what you
Uh,
mean.
okay. Let's see on video. I think we're showing right now. Yeah, Lorelai and the laser eyes. I thought
Mhm.
that came out of nowhere, and that looked really cool. So
Agreed.
intrigued by that. Near Automata. Interesting that that's coming to the Switch. I'll be interested in see how that performs, how that runs. Um, a Portal companion collection. Portal should just be everywhere. Everyone should play that. It's great. And then Persona. I mean, we
Mhm.
should be expecting this. It's still can't believe it's taking this long, but we're getting the Persona games coming to Switch as well. So that was kind of
Yep.
how they close it out. I thought overall it was a nice direct. It was a bunch of things that I was surprised by. Not too much that we'd heard of. It was a good mix of new and whatever. And yeah, well done. Still interested to see if they're going to come with a full another direct or if they're going to kind of stick to the like I think they did Xenoblade 1, maybe they'll do a Splatoon 1 at some point. Like they're going to stick to doing featured things on games
Sure.
or if they're going to do another kind of big one. But
Sure.
yeah. Um okay, a couple movie stories before we get into Westworld. This one is quick. I just thought it was funny cuz when the Dark Knight trilogy was done, I know Warner Brothers was throwing so much money at Christian Bale.
Yep.
Please stay. Please
Yep.
be Batman longer.
I
Like,
mean, they were
nope.
good. They were good. I get it.
Oh yeah, I know. It makes sense that they would ask him to keep going. They were
Yeah.
successful and was doing well. So for sure. But he said no, could not be convinced. But now recently, he's he said he'd be open to playing Batman again
No.
if
No.
Christopher Nolan came to him with another story he really wanted to tell.
Nope. Nope.
No? Like, you don't
Nope.
want it or it's not happening, nope, or what's,
Um, only don't want it because there's too much Batman material out there right now.
sure.
And this is like a thing where I already like ranted about the fact that I'm super annoyed at like too many potential Harley Quinns out there.
Yes.
Like it's too much Batverse right now.
Mhm.
Everybody needs to pump the brakes so I can concentrate on like one or two at a time.
Right. Yeah, don't
So
diminish yeah.
yeah. I mean, we worked it out and Rob Pattinson did a great job. I really liked the Batman more than I thought I would. I liked Robert Pattinson more than I thought I would. So just go with it, please.
Sure.
I
Yep.
really love Christian Bale and like yeah, if you'd come to me with this, you know, however many years ago when he was doing the Nolan trilogy, if you
Mhm.
came to me with it like 5 years ago, 2 years ago, great. I would have loved it cuz I really liked him. But now it's just too messy and I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, it won't happen, I
No,
doubt,
it won't
but
I mean, maybe it will at some point, I don't know, but I'm predicting I'm like a 85 to 90% sure it won't.
yeah.
Because I'll never
Well,
say no because people surprise the hell out of me and it could
yes.
get messier. It could absolutely happen and I could be, a month from now sitting here shaking my head going, "Well, they did it."
Yeah. I don't
But
I
I'm
I
hoping it's
like
a
the
no.
idea that when we used to have that there was one Batman at a time
Right?
in live action form,
Right?
you know?
Chill out, everybody.
Yeah.
I don't
We
know.
just had
Maybe it's just like Christian Bale's coming off of Thor, Love and Thunder, and it's just like, ah, I miss the
I mean,
action and
yeah.
just like feeling a vibe there.
He was asked a
But
question, he answered it, I
sure,
understand,
yeah.
it just I had this thought, like, some executives somewhere were probably like, "What the hell? Really? Really, man?" Like,
now,
yeah.
now,
Mhm.
yeah.
So, speaking of Christian Bale, who is in the movie you just mentioned, Thor, the
Directed.
director of new Thor,
Yep. Taika
Taika
Waititi.
Waititi, he's supposedly making a Star Wars movie, and I thought maybe now he
Hmm.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe he should just not because
Yeah. I read
I
that story. Was like, ow. That's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
it is. It is embarrassing.
Uh,
I
I
understand
mean,
you can make a mistake.
you're right, props to him for telling a funny story,
Yes.
because it is funny, but in the moment, youch.
Yeah. So the story is, and I have it pulled up here from comicbook.com.
Yeah,
Taika Waititi was talking to Natalie Portman, who we all know is in Thor: Love and Thunder, and he liked working with her and such, and was letting her know, "Hey, I'm working on a Star Wars movie." So he says, and quote, "I'm trying to work on a Star Wars thing. Have you ever wanted to be in a Star Wars movie?" She said, Natalie Portman responds, "I've been in Star Wars movies." So yeah,
it's so embarrassing. She just it's not even that she was, like, a small character, you know what I mean? That you could be
right,
forgiven for, like, a
pivotal.
right? Like, if she was in a cameo or just, like, a brief second of
Yes.
a scene, if she was an extra,
Be like Peter
oh, no,
Capaldi.
God.
Okay, we'll work him back
Right.
in later, but
Oh,
yeah.
God. Oh, God, it's so crushing.
Mhm, mhm. So, just that's just not that's just not.
Yeah. Yeah, that had to
Um
be super embarrassing. And it's funny because weren't we talking about, recently one of the writers on Kenobi who was like, "Oh, yeah, like, it's a big reveal, Vader's alive. Like, we don't even know
yeah,
what," and we were like, "Why are you working on this series?"
yeah.
It's hilarious that this story is following so close on the heels of that, where we're like, "Oh, boy. Some
Mhm.
Star Wars writers really need to bone up on their canon."
Yeah.
Like,
It
it's
it
not even, like, world building stuff, you just, like, basic storyline.
right.
Bone up on that, please.
Yeah. It was it was weird how it seems like canon was more consistent and concerned, like a bigger concern when we had all these different writers writing this
Right.
stuff, and there wasn't exactly a like story team that was would be should be as strict about like keeping track of what is canon. And there's way less to focus on now. There's way
Mhm.
less to consider.
Mhm.
Before there was a very detailed timeline of all the expanding universe stuff, like in novel form, where it all fits in. And even in comics, they would like say the years based on everything. And so you'd know where it all fits. And like, I don't know. So that was, yeah, it was weird to me. Um, I don't know what Taika Waititi would do for a Star Wars movie. He
Like,
did,
you like what he would write or,
yeah,
like,
what kind
what
of
he would
thing he
bring
would
to Star
do.
Wars?
Yeah, I mean, he I definitely think he's talented, so he did. I guess the thing that would give me hope would be, what's that rabbit one he did?
Jojo
World War
Rabbit?
II. Yeah, Jojo
Mhm.
Rabbit.
Yeah.
That was good. So if he brought
Ragnarok was
something
good.
like that. Yeah, but it's so comedic. So I'm just not looking for, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe he tells that kind of story in the Star Wars world, but that's the last thing I'd want is let's bring the Marvel vibe
Oh, yeah,
into
no, I agree
Star
with
Wars,
that, yeah.
So,
I mean, Star Wars could use some lightening up, but not like a Ragnarok vibe.
yeah, I mean, he said he
Not
wants
that
to do
light.
something different, like away from the
Mhm.
main story enough. So maybe it could be something completely a little sillier.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, like all I'm saying is, like, Star Wars could use some lightening up in a way that isn't, like, horrible and forced and, like, "We're doing comedy now for a second."
sure.
Um, so, like, he does bring that, like, easiness, very conversationalist, kind of
Yeah.
funny vibe. So he could bring that. I don't mean to say he could bring, like, the premise of Ragnarok and how silly that was.
Yep.
That
Alan's
doesn't
right
need to be
here.
there.
Alan does mention he directed the last episode of season 1 of The Mandalorian. And
Oh,
so
okay.
that was good. That was entertaining.
What is appetite maybe for some Star
Yeah.
Wars?
Yep. Um,
Yeah, maybe just brush up on your history, pal, and, check out a cast list.
yeah. Well, and that's something I recently watched, so our friend Dave Schrader, who does the Paranormal 60, shout
Right.
out to that show. He had on his show, he was like hosting a panel at some convention and interviewing Matt Ryan, who's Constantine. And
Mm,
so he was in the
mhm.
Constantine show and has continued that. He was in Legion or Legends of Tomorrow and then the animated movies and stuff like that.
Right.
And like what he talked about on stage was really cool. Like how he, as soon as he was cast, he started reading from the beginning all of Hellblazer. He just started reading them all. And so he's getting through hundreds of issues. You really wanted to understand the character. And then he said he was having trouble because he'd be reading it after a shoot at night and then have terrible nightmares and stuff.
Oh,
So he's like,
sure.
okay. And then he, then the show was canceled. So he's kind of like, it was a sour thing for him then at that point. But then he got back and did more gigs playing Constantine. So then he picked it back up again. So I
Nice.
just like that kind of dedication. You're excited
Mhm.
for the character. You're excited for what you
Right.
know,
Like
he's
Henry
talking about the
Cavill in Witcher, kinda
yeah,
like, I'm
right.
really dedicated to the material. I've read it, I know it, I've studied.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
The people that come to the director or the whatever and say, "Yeah, I don't think he'd say this," or "I don't think they
Yep.
do this," or whatever.
But, like,
Um,
you know that they've actually read it,
yeah,
and that's why there's and they're not just saying it because they don't wanna do it.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, that's news for the week.
Mhm.
Some interesting stuff going on there. Lots of TV, as we mentioned, being released along with. I mean, it's summertime, so movies and television.
Mhm.
Westworld being amongst them.
Mhm.
Season 4 just started, 2 episodes down. We're gonna talk about that all spoilery like. So,
Yes.
fair
Yes.
warning now.
We were supposed to cover it a little bit earlier, on Sunday, and then we had thought we were getting through, episodes 1 and 2 then, and I totally forgot that even though this show is on HBO Max, it's not acting like a streaming show. HBO is
Yes.
releasing it on their, channel HBO 8 o'clock on Sundays,
Yeah,
and it's just
like
it's
Raised by Wolves.
right, but it's so, like, I forget these things in the era of streaming sometimes, you know what I mean? When you say, like, "Oh, the show comes
I know
out
what
on
you mean.
Sundays," you just think, like, "It's Sunday morning, I get to wake up and, watch my show."
Yep.
And, yeah, it's just kind of a jolt back into the reality of, like, "Nope, there's a specific time."
Yeah. I I'm a fan. 'Cause see, to
I like it
me, the
too.
way they release Stranger Things, I don't like that. It lessens engagement over a period of time.
Mhm.
So if you want someone to be excited about a show, you want that moment where you can tune in,
Yep.
whether you do the night of or the next couple days, and then you can talk to other people that are watching it. Because otherwise, you're going to have this thing this drops. A whole bunch of people are going to binge it. Others are going to go through it slowly. You're all off kilter in how you're going to discuss it with other people, and then a lot of people are just through and done with your show before
Mhm.
it just
Before you
shortens the
know it, yeah.
lifespan of stuff. And so I think Netflix is doing this with anime, and I don't think that's a good call either. Like, let's get this. I don't know.
Mhm.
What do you think? How do you like it? How do you prefer it?
Um, I mean, I was really excited to continue the thread with Stranger Things. I was really excited to have it come out. And I was sort of excited about this like break in the season. But then it was like 2 episodes and it was just sort of like, I don't know, it felt weird and
Yeah,
cheap and like even though we talked about like, yeah, the episodes were longer and so, there was like well, it's so much content, but like, I don't know, for those 2 episodes, you could have just released them or
yeah.
not, like, or like held more back. Like, it was a very weird way to do stuff.
Think how much
Um,
longer Stranger Things could be in the conversation of
right,
culture.
right.
You know,
It almost feels already over,
I know.
and I don't like it
Mm.
because I
You
want
want to
to
you want
talk
to be able
about
to
it.
discuss it, like theorize what's going to happen next week. Where this is going, and now it's just
I do because the show started in one place and ended in another, and the way the show started I was worried and now I'm not worried, but I want to like talk about like all the little things along the way that like
Mm.
got better or improved, or the twists that I saw coming and the ones that I didn't see coming. Yeah. That
So
I
it's
want to talk
still
about like
inspiring conversation then.
yeah. I mean it's I don't know.
Yeah.
It's still in the conversation and I want to talk about it, but I feel like I would be more into the minutia, the nitty-gritty of everything that happened if it came out. Like, even if you released like the first 2 or 3 at a time and then did 1,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
like that better.
Yeah, I
'Cause then
think,
it gets
like,
everybody excited, like, you get jump
yeah,
started on, like, a bunch of them, and then you're just, like, waiting.
certainly for new properties, give people a
Mhm.
chance to, like, sink their teeth into a little more, you know?
Well, and for something
Um,
like Stranger Things season 4, because it's been almost 3 years,
yeah.
like, it's almost like a new property again,
Mhm.
because it's been so long that like, need to get back into the grip of it.
Yep. Well, Westworld season 4, not as long of a break.
No,
When
still
we
long,
ended
though.
on yeah, when we ended on season 3, I was less than super excited.
Mhm,
Um, and so I honestly wasn't the difference between me waiting for season 3 from 2 to now 3 to 4, very different,
mhm.
because after 2 is like, "Oh, it is coming back. Wow, okay, what's gonna be?" I love Westworld. 3 to 4, I'm like, "Well, I mean, I guess we gotta try it, you know, give it a shot yet." Were you as down on it as me, or a little more excited
Um,
than I?
no to both. I wasn't as down on it, I think, at the end of last season, but I also was very scared to pick it back up,
Okay.
you know? Like, I felt that we were going to, but it was almost like a dread. It was almost like "Oh, it's out now. Like, I gotta get watching it. I gotta get watching it."
Right.
And I just
Where is
wasn't
it gonna
sure that
go?
yeah, like, I was like, "I don't know that I want to, but I guess I will, because it was, like, one of our shows."
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
so, yeah, I wasn't excited to pick it back up.
So now that it has started,
Now that it's 2 episodes in,
what do you think?
man, I there are things that I love and things that I don't.
Okay.
So, I love some of the characters picking back up, um, because I've always loved Maeve, and I just, like, love her as a character, I love her journeys, I love the actress, I believe Tandaway is how you say her name?
Oh, I said
She
Tandy Newton, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
so she added the W back in because that's her, like, birth name, and so she was like,
Oh,
"Oh, I'm gonna go
interesting.
by my birth name now, I wanna change it."
Sure.
Um, so I apologize to anybody, I don't know how to say that, but I love her as an actress, I think she's done a killer job as Maeve, over the 4 seasons, and she is still killing it in this season, I actually like her and Caleb's partnership. I
Yeah,
think she makes him less annoying, and he's
sure.
a little more fun and a little more, like, quippy, a little more risky. Yeah, I just feel like I get him as a character better, so that was a pleasant surprise. Um, I don't wanna jump into my favorite thing about this season because it's episode 2, but
Okay. Okay.
yeah, there are some pleasant aspects of this, and then there are some, um, that I'm not so fond of, which
Okay.
is Dolores/Christina, and
Okay.
I just don't know what this is. I don't know where this is going.
Sure. Right. Yeah, so we are set up with a season that is a few years in the future. I think it was
Mhm.
even like 7 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And from the ending of season 3, which
Yeah,
I
they
think is
specifically say.
a good call. I think it's
Mhm.
nice. We're separating. We're saying the events of season 3, they had their effect. What's the world look like now that that's done? Have we seen the changes? So that's some of the discussion, like all the chaos and stuff that happened.
Mhm.
Did it amount to anything? are your lives different kind of thing. So that's
Yeah,
kind of one.
just to jump on that for a second, I feel like this is a smart move, the same way that The Boys having a time jump was a smart move. We've moved
Mm,
past like a kind of apocalyptic scenario into a moment where everything is calm and established and built so that we can start to unravel and tear it all down. And I
sure,
think that's a really effective place for both of these shows to be in right now.
sure, yeah, yeah,
They're totally different in the sense of, like, I don't feel like the storyline is being copied in any sense of,
right,
but it's a good time jump for both of these shows.
yep. And there's like a messiness that can be. I mean, there is getting into some messiness at the end of season 3 that I thought they weren't
Mhm.
executing well.
Right.
It's kind of what I always talk about with like zombie apocalypse something. It's like if you're going to do the daunting task of like World War Z and try to show how the world collapses, or even like I think it was Contagion, yeah,
Mhm.
talking about like a pandemic or epidemic sort of thing. Like those things are challenging because there's a lot. It's such the scope is so large,
Mhm.
and so you need to have these things happen, but to see them happen can be difficult to showcase
Mhm.
versus like, let's just skip ahead. And we know a lot of garbage had to happen here, and we can imagine some of that and we can explain some of it, but the rest of it, like, fill in yourself a little.
Right.
So, yeah, I think the messiness of rebuilding and how we just know that society has settled in the kind of
Yeah.
new way here. Um, I felt that the city is a little more realistically futuristic in some ways
Mhm.
than before. I felt like before
Yeah.
Westworld, it'd be like, this just seems like today, kind of, but with some robots around, you know?
Some, like, autopilot cars.
Yeah. Hmm. Feels a
Yeah.
little more thoughtful now, a little
Yeah.
different.
I agree.
And then we're setting up our different kind of story. We have the William. What's William doing? Man in
Mhm.
Black. and and then you already mentioned them, um,
Maeve and Caleb.
Maeve and Caleb, which I agree is a good pair right now. They're
Mhm.
interacting well with one another. And then the oh yeah, we had the that's right, we had the surprise at the end of episode 1 that they didn't address in episode 2.
No, just
Um,
completely ignored it.
yeah, I just totally forgot about that. But yeah, the I should pull up these people's names here because I'm forgetting them all. But basically, have these like kind of three um,
Yeah,
plots.
Dolores
Dolores, yeah,
slash Christina, as she's now known. So, she's a Dolores copy. Yeah? She's a
yes.
Dolores clone,
As
as
far
far
as
as
I
we
understand, yeah, because there's
yeah.
definitely been some catching up. I like the recap, but it still left me in some moments like, okay, what exactly? Because Dolores very much died in
Mhm.
season 3. So yeah, we have a copy, but where did she come from
Right,
exactly? Like
right.
if that was in there before, I don't remember because there was more
So
than one of her.
right, so I think Dolores had escaped Westworld with, like, 6, like, hosts, like, little balls, whatever they are,
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Yep.
cores,
Hmm.
and some of them were copies of her,
Okay.
but it wasn't clear that all 6 of them were,
Okay. Right.
from what
Yeah,
I
some
can
of them
remember.
definitely
It's been
weren't
a while.
because she brought back Bernard
Right, right.
and
Yep.
what's her name now? Tessa Thompson.
Well, she's a different Dolores copy who, like, went rogue because she was
Yes.
Hale Loris, remember? Charlotte
That's
Hale,
right.
Hale Loris. Yep.
Hale, yes, 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 yes.
But
Mm,
yeah, I think there was one other one
I
that
completely
that
forgot
they
that.
yeah. Yeah, see, the recap doesn't help as much as it
Hmm.
should. It did need a little, like, boost of, like, remember all
Hmm.
these things because it was a lot.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So I so far I have to say impressions. I am really liking the music.
Mhm.
I'm liking
Agreed.
the look of it. I felt like at times it really showcased itself in the fight scenes in season 3, but I feel like just so far the show is looking pretty good.
Mhm.
Um and it feels a little bit to me a little bit more reserved like season 1 was. Season 1 felt mature, evenly paced. It just felt like we've talked how it went from a cerebral show really in
Mhm.
season 1 and most of season 2 to kind of trying to be an action futuristic action show in season
Mhm.
3 did not work for me. I feel like we're maybe going back a little bit. We're slowing down.
Yep.
We don't have so many storylines at the moment,
Mhm.
um, so I'm liking this, and it's setting up some interesting questions. Like we've got the flies, So our
Flies.
opening is the man in black throwing down threats, and like infecting people with some sort of I don't know
Fly horde.
nanobot things or
Yeah.
yeah something that now we have dealt with people being able to program hosts, they can completely control hosts to now
Mhm.
maybe the hosts are able to program humans in a way.
Oh,
And
a
so we're
bug in
getting
the
this
system.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
But we maybe have two different means to this happening
Mhm.
because we've got the Man in Black thread that we're talking with Hale
Sure.
and him and the flies, but then also with the Dolores thread where it's like she's writing video games and,
But
like, writing
maybe
them
that are
into
real.
existence? Yeah,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
I don't know,
I'm very intrigued by this. If it's, and her boss seems to be um
an
very
ass.
shady. Yeah, he's clearly an ass, but like he's very shady about her projects and he doesn't like the ones that seem to be like, the games that she's pitching that are like hopeful stories. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
get back to what people like. Get back to like the death and the sex and." So it's very like so is this you're writing out people's lives kind of thing,
right.
you know? It's kind of a
God.
callback to like a longer route version of like Rehoboam. I think that's how you said it. The machine that like directed everybody's lives last season. Is it like a long form version of like now we have programmers at a gaming company
Yeah,
writing out people's lives? It'd be very interesting if that's like you know, the
th
direction that this is taking.
right. This is I don't
But it's
it's
like
intriguing
hosts
because
writing human lives.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
writing the loop for him.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a very intriguing, premise, and it's made more so because I don't know what possibly the answer and details behind this could be. So
Right.
I hope it's satisfying because like it
Right.
sounds cool, but what the heck?
They're teasing it a lot. They're not giving us a lot.
Mhm.
Um, Even to the point where like so Dolor Dolores, I'm gonna say Dolores, but it's Christina. So
Christina. Okay, Christina,
Christina
Christina, Christina.
Christina is badgered by this guy who seems to be calling her and like saying like, "Why did you mess up my life? Why are you making me do these things?" And he stalks her and she has encounters with him. So to the point when he approached her, he hadn't been seen really by anyone else and hadn't really been acknowledged by anyone else. And then he was like suddenly up on a roof and about to jump. And then he did. And in the moment, I was like, did anybody else see that? Like, is he even real?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
And
For sure.
it was only afterwards when like her roommate was talking about the obituary. But even then, like only her roommate talks about him. You know what I mean? Like, we have no other background characters that have, like, seen him,
That's
talked to
true.
him. So, like, maybe it's a plant and maybe her roommate's in on it.
She seems
Like, is
weird.
she seems off somehow, so I'm looking for something here
She
to,
seems
like, get
off
me forward.
because she's not it's one of those friends, I guess, that never will take you seriously.
Yeah,
It's
she's
like,
never really,
"I have
like,
a
in her
problem,
life.
okay?" Yeah, right, and she's just, like, trying to be,
She's like,
go
"Going
have
on a date."
fun,
Yeah, go
be
to dinner. Yeah,
frivolous, whatever. It's like, and so it could just be the sense of, hey, you've been down. I'm trying
right,
to do what I think is best for you. But it also could be like, well, maybe listen to what I'm saying here.
right,
And, but yeah, it could be totally be something to mess with her. It's just another employee from the work, you know?
right.
So,
Like, who knows?
mhm.
So, yeah, I'm
Um,
hoping there's a interesting, the way that this is building, I hope that there's an interesting payoff, like you said.
yeah. I'm thinking, what are these games?
I
I want to
know.
know how they're played and who is playing them, because
Yep.
if the story is you're a guy that gets divorced, has kids, and then like commits suicide, who no one's playing that. Like
Right.
you
Well,
might,
and she was like, when she was on this like horrible, horrible date that we had to live through with her, she's
yeah.
talking about she writes background characters.
Right. But then she's talking about the overall plot. So maybe
Right.
it's just one piece. Maybe that would make more sense. She's writing a character that you could potentially maybe save or help or something like
Sure.
that.
Sure.
So in a larger scale scheme of things,
Sure.
that would make more sense. So maybe that's the case. Um
'Cause, yeah, that's
yes,
awfully
that
fleshed out
helps.
for just a background character.
Well, but as things become more realistic, that's really important. They had it
Right, right. I'm
before
just saying,
in,
like
yeah.
I feel like there's a difference between a background character and like just an extra or like a
Yeah.
body. You know what I mean? Just
Well,
on a screen.
and the reality is in the future, anything that's a lot of them are just going to be machine algorithm written, you know.
Hmm.
So it will just a lot of the places will just be they'll populate and whatever, because they won't
Sure.
have the labor force to sit there and be so detailed about every single person. But
Ugh,
yeah.
sad.
Sad? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it
it's
is definitely what people, I know some people myself that would love to work for the game company writing, and that sounds great, so if
mhm.
you could, yeah, but
Plug.
yeah, yep. Professional writer on stream right here, guys,
Yep.
right up
Right,
there.
right. Hey.
Yeah.
Wait,
Um, and so then, yeah, we have the Caleb Maeve storyline.
wait, wait. So if we're gonna go
Oh,
storyline by storyline, we obviously have to go with Dolores's biggest reveal, Dolores Christina. So she gets stalked by this like creepy Peter guy who like she
yep,
maybe kills in a video
yep.
game, but then he like commits suicide.
Hmm.
But before he does so, he like attacks her and she gets saved by someone she doesn't know. And she goes and runs away inside her house. And then we as an audience get to like get the pan back to the face of the guy who saves her. And dun dun dun, it's Teddy.
Yeah, you
Teddy.
know, you
What
know
is he
what I
doing back? And is it
right.
actually Teddy?
I mean, he's hanging around Dolores, right? So,
But like, is it like
old
a
Dolores.
Dolores copy somehow? Or
Oh
is it
God.
Teddy?
Oh God.
Is
This
he one
Dolores
of the
copy is going to give Dolores everything she wishes Teddy would have given her before. Like he's going to know
I
exactly what.
mean,
Mhm.
maybe. But yeah, so that's the question. Is it Teddy or is it a Dolores copy? Is it even a host or is it like somehow like a fluke of a, you know, human
Mm.
that he's based on
It's an
or
NPC she wrote.
I mean,
Wrote him into
maybe.
existence. Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's the
Yeah.
question and I'm dying to
Mm,
find out and I can't believe
mm.
they didn't touch it at all in episode 2 because that to
Yeah.
me was like the biggest thing out of her storyline. Teddy's
That's
back.
surprising. I wrote at the end of my comments like, wow, it's like they had a plan. What a novel idea. Because
Mhm.
they in the post credit things they
Yes.
mention
Which I
that
watched for good measure because I was like I need
nice.
to get
Yeah.
back all in this. So,
Yeah. They well, I think last season they had some details of, or they no,
mm,
that was in Raised by Wolves. It's like, okay, that
some
detail
very
needed to
clutch
be in
details,
the
yeah.
show. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was I like that they talked to the actors, said, "Hey, we're putting you on hold. We're going to bring you back later."
Yep.
So that's cool that it seemed like they have an idea of where things are going.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, we can
Um
move on to Caleb Mame now. I just needed to get my Teddy freak out in there.
yeah. So Caleb is kind of back working like he was, sort of thing,
Construction, yep.
but he's got a wife and kid now. So that's fun.
Yeah,
But and things seem good, but at the same time, he and his wife are a little distant,
yeah.
So,
Yeah, they've clearly got some marital tension going on. I do want to say that the kind of setup for Caleb's storyline was one of the few things that like actually actively disappointed me.
was it the
S-
dialogue?
It
His
was,
coworker?
yeah, it was clunky and it was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, are you really in a different place now?" And I was like, first of all, this seems like weirdly introspective for you guys. Like
yeah,
I'm just meeting you and you're trying to get like super deep somehow
right.
and I'm not feeling it. And also like it just ignores a bunch of context for Caleb's life. Like before in season 3, he was like doing this very rote work. He was doing it with a robot who he couldn't communicate with. He had no like almost no human communication except for like this like crime sprees that he used to
Yeah,
do. He was fated to die. Like
yep,
his life in context is very different. Like sure he's still working construction, but like he's working with human partners. He's got a wife, he's got a kid. Like he
nice
knows
house.
a nice house, he, like, knows what he wants. Like,
Yep.
I don't know, it felt a little, like, you know,
It
heavy-handed.
Yeah. It like I say, it was clunky. It did feel shoehorned, that dialogue, particular
It was bad.
conversation. It was a fair question, but it wasn't
It ca
handled
it
well. It was really
Yeah, it
amateur.
came about in a really awkward, like, unnatural way.
Yep.
It
Mhm.
was it was almost, like, too direct. Like, I could have
Yeah.
used some sort of, like, hinting to, like, consider this question, but don't just, like, ask it outright.
Yeah. Mhm. I can see other shows doing this as like a on the news thing,
Yeah,
in the
mhm.
background, sort
Yep.
of talking to 2 people, like how things have changed now, whatever.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
and, like, that would have been fine with me. But
mhm.
yeah, this was a little bit much. But from there, I really felt Caleb's storyline like take off. Like everything, was kind of just like building into these like,
Yeah.
he's having like tense moments with his wife because he can't quite let the war go, which get it. I mean,
Yep.
what a super traumatic time for him to live through. He's continuing to be paranoid, which is spilling over into their daughter's life. It's spilling into her life. But as we find out, like, pretty much right away, he was right to be paranoid
Mhm.
because people are after him. Like, the
Yep.
man in black is back, and he's got some plans, and Caleb and Maeve are clearly in his line of fire.
Well, and really, so I guess we'll get to them in a bit, but yeah, I won't jump over them yet.
Yeah,
Clearly, Maeve and Caleb's storyline is more intertwined with Hale and the Man in Black.
right.
They're directly aware that he's around and is seeking them out, so they're going to do the
Which
same.
I loved the rewind trick that Maeve pulls on the hosts who are sent after her.
Hmm.
I love that just, like, plug in, rewind your memories, like, I'm digging this trick that she's got going on.
Yeah, and I liked the scene, seeing where Maeve was. She was still like, yeah, it was kind of sad. She's still living in her memories in a way,
Mhm.
rewinding there.
Yeah.
Um, so she does the put on a good face thing, but
Mhm.
has issues or whatever. But I liked that setup, and I also liked the people when the people came after her, how she dealt with them, because I feel like in season 3 she would have just like 1 on 8 kung fu'd them all, you know?
This was
She would
very
have shut
realistic,
she
yeah.
would have shut down a few with her powers and then kung fu the rest. And this was cooler. Drive the truck up there, blow it up from afar. Most of them are
Mhm,
taken care of, get the jump on the other guy. Job his head
mhm.
off. That was good.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool too. I didn't recognize the guy when she talk to him. It's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
Colonel, whatever," and then again in the app post credits thing, they're like,
You're
"Oh
like,
yeah, he's
"Ah,
a host."
yeah."
So, yeah,
Yep.
so that's fun. Um, so yeah, they're kind of on the path to try to find the Man in Black. Like you say, doing their rewind stuff. They kind of we see a lot of that picking up in episode 2 as well.
Mhm.
We do get a fight scene. I thought it was pretty good. Um, Came
Yeah,
out of
yeah.
nowhere. I didn't expect those people to be hosts, you know?
Yeah, and it was fun that, like, Maeve was a little glitchy in her just, like, freeze all motor functions, like, she's gonna
Yeah.
have some troubles with that maybe. Like she was talking about, the Man in Black has some upgrades, and
Mhm.
it's nothing she can't handle for now,
Right.
but I feel like we're leading to a moment where she's not gonna be able to handle it.
Mhm. Well, and so that's the other thing, like, well, they're looking for the Man in Black, but the Man in Black is how much autonomy does he have? Because I seem to remember at the end of episode of season 3, we had,
He's a host.
yeah, but there's a whole bunch of I think they showed a bunch of copies of him or something like that,
Right,
so they're
right,
ready for if he's, taken down, put him in a new body.
right.
But so it is a digitization of the Man in Black, right? It
Mhm.
is, but the real Man in Black still exists, but
Big reveal, yeah.
really it's Hale that's in charge. So it's
Yeah, which is
eh,
Dolores.
yes, Dolores Hale is in charge,
Mhm.
and the Man in Black, yeah, that's I'm just interested in what autonomy he has. Like how much is
Yeah,
he the Man in Black, or how much is he puppet
right.
to Hale Dolores?
And
Halores.
and I mean, did she make another copy of herself that could get warped and twisted like Halores, Hale Dolores got
Right.
twisted from like Dolores's original intention?
Yeah.
So is there going to be a point where one of the copies of the man in black is like going rogue because something traumatic happens?
Yeah.
Because Hale really went rogue because of like her family that she was placed in and all the trauma and bonding that happened there.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so you're
Right.
right. Like, how much autonomy do these like copies of the Man in Black have? Um, when is something going to happen where it's like snap him one way or the other? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Like,
I
are
mean,
they just
and yeah,
aligned, or is there gonna come a point where they diverge and don't agree anymore, and is she
right.
put
And
in
who
fail
power
safes?
struggle? Yeah,
Yeah.
who
Mhm.
comes out on top for sure?
So, I'm glad he's back in this kind of form. I didn't like seeing him kinda crazy and stuff before. I didn't think it
Hmm.
served particularly well or went on too long or something, but it's
Yeah,
fun seeing him now, like, run down
beaten.
vice president and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
on the one hand, he's like super badass, like taking down vice presidents and, getting holes in one. And on the other
yeah,
hand, he's like beaten and, the real version
the
of
original
himself.
self, yeah.
Yeah, his like human self is beaten and is being kept in like stasis in
Yep,
one of these like the original machines that write or program or like create host bodies.
yep.
So
hmm
very interesting that it's like that tool has been repurposed that way.
yeah. And so there, I think this is so far, because we don't know enough about the writing of NPCs and computer stuff. We don't know enough
Hmm.
what's going on there. So to me
Right.
right now, this is the most interesting premise that applies to, like, the fun thing of these is always the warnings for the future kind of, and
Right.
this is like, well, we can't get things done the way we want or whatever, so we're just going to replace the people that are in our way. We just
Yep.
take them out and put a copy in that will do as we say. And so
Mhm.
there's two methods to this, it seems. We have one, the fly method, that's
Mhm.
literally taking the human body and manage to control it somehow. And
Which
then we have
Hale seems to be clearly still perfecting or working on in some way.
Right. Mhm.
Unclear whether or not, like, her infection of the senator's wife and the way that turned out was intentional or, like,
Yeah.
was enough to get the job done but wasn't great. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I don't know that that's, like, a success or not.
Right. Because why was she left to her own devices in there, you know? It's like
Right, why was she, like, butchering all the horses? Like,
yeah.
what did that serve in,
Mhm.
the purpose of, like, getting Caleb and Maeve to the opera?
Yeah, because they kept her alive so she could be useful or something yet,
Which was to get
and s
Caleb and Maeve to the opera, right? So that
right.
they could
So,
they could get down to that speakeasy, so they could
but why do
my
we want
favorite
that?
part,
But why do we want that? Why is
because
that what
they have to get on the train and go back to Westworld.
I know, but, like, for the integrity of the story, why would the Man in Black why would Hale want them coming back yet? Like,
So
what are they scheming for these 2? Or is it
so,
just like, "You're gonna walk into our trap"?
yeah, I think it's you're gonna walk into our trap, and I think it's also, like, they want somebody to witness. The
Mm,
same reason I think
just not
Hale
aware.
Dolores keeps William alive because she
Right.
wants him to like witness her like total dominion and just like rub
Mm,
it in his face. I think she also ultimately wants them there to like witness this
sure.
because there's some attachment to them. I don't know if that it's that she needs them to like realize she wins and like come back to her maybe or like be a part of things or like just know that they're beaten but like yeah i
I
feel like
hope
there's
there's
a
a
I feel like there's a connection there and like a need for witness or validation or something.
I hope there's something like that and they make it kind of clear because that's a very human thing. And
Hmm.
if Hale showcases that a lot, that's kind of neat. And it's
It
because,
gets us back to that like what is human question and like
yeah, because what would you, where is the satisfaction if you manage to successfully replace all the people that you want with hosts? You're gonna just
yeah,
slowly recreate the population this way and whatever, have everything done that you want when no one knows about it.
right.
No one knows
There's
of
that
your
need,
conquest.
right, there's that need to like show it off, that need to
Yeah.
be like look at what I did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Could be. Could be.
So, but yeah, obviously, big spoiler alert. That's my favorite part of episode 2. They're tricked into going to the opera, tricked into going into a speakeasy. Um
Yeah.
and we find out the speakeasy starts moving and it's the
Mhm.
train back to Westworld, only it's not Westworld.
Right.
We are now in the roaring 20s, which inspired my drink, the bee's knees, or as I call it, the fly's
Nice.
eyes.
Oh, there you go. All right. Nice.
So oh, I love it. I've always wanted to get back to the park,
Okay.
and I love that we're back
In a new theme. I'm sure everybody
in
on
a
the
new
show is
theme.
excited to be making new sets and all this stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
costume.
I thought it was really clever the way that they, like, showed the dressing room, but in a sense of, like, you still thought it was gonna be Westworld. You know what I mean? They didn't
Mm,
the costumes weren't clear enough to give you the sense of, "We're not going literally back to Westworld," until they stepped off the train and it was like, "Ah, these
yeah.
are not Western clothes."
I was spoiled by the preview.
Oh, okay.
In the first one, they showed, like, coming up, and I
I
saw
didn't, yeah.
some, like, Roaring '20s stuff, so,
I didn't
yeah.
see that, or I maybe missed it or chose to ignore it, but yeah,
Yep.
I dug it. I dug the way this reveal played out.
Yep. Yeah, it's fun. She does the hats. That was
Mhm,
feel like that was the reveal there, yeah. Mhm.
mhm.
It's fun. Um, interesting bold, I must say, of the host lady to offer to dress Caleb in front of his, supposed wife.
I know. I was like, I know that they're there for, like, everybody's every pleasure or whatever,
Mhm.
and, like, they call it back out to, like, the first, you know, host who, like, does this for the Man in Black, but yeah, Maeve is right there, chick.
Yeah. Yep. Eh, never know. Um, so yeah. Yeah, that's fun. What else have we got going on? Oh, Clementine's back
Mhm.
helping out.
Yep,
I felt
she gets
bad
a
for her,
reboot.
but she's kind of pretty cool now. I like her. She does a good job. I wrote in the comments somewhere, she kind of reminds me of you. Not in
Yes,
like
you
the
did.
cold-hearted like way or like that. Just
Murdering the
like
Secret Service as I
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. Just like I don't know, facially, it just kind of
Yeah,
look similar.
yeah, I feel that. Yeah, she gets I mean, I'm glad she was rebooted instead of just, like, dead, as I feared after the Man in Black came after her, but, yeah,
Mm.
she's quite scary. Um,
Yeah,
and I think it'll be fun. I'm guessing some point there'll be a showdown between her and Maeve, and it's gonna be maybe a point in which Maeve can't use the superpower
yeah.
freeze all motor functions, and it's gonna get real.
That would be sad because they were such
Ex
important allies before.
exactly.
Um, had a note like, why do you think Hale Loris has kept the one arm all scarred? She
Mm,
was burnt everywhere
yes.
and she's perfectly fine except for the
Except
arm. I
for
was like,
the
is this a
yeah.
reminder thing or is what? Why is this? Or is this just kind of a thing for the audience to kind of throw away? Like, hey, remember she was burnt? I wouldn't like
Ooh,
that answer as much, but
yeah, I hate that answer. So, I mean, we'll have to see if they keep, in showing her in the future episodes, like if they keep the scarring, they keep
mhm,
that consistency. Um, yeah, I'm hoping it's like a I'll never forget kind of thing. Like
right.
a visual reminder of the trauma that she went through.
Yep. Yep. Um, and then I just seeing this picture up here now. Dolores looks so different with this hair color and stuff.
Hmm.
Like very different. So
Very different. Yep. Which is, yeah, I'm not sure if we're just like being helped to fixate on her as like Christina for the
right.
time being, but it's really messing with me. I don't know why, but I'm really not feeling her as a Christina.
Mm.
And
Well,
it's
we
not even that
definitely
like, she's Dolores,
mhm,
she's so Dolores. I just feel like they could have picked a better name.
sure. I like that she is not the Dolores we were used to in the last season as much. It's good to see kind of this closer to what original Dolores was,
Yes.
um, a little more innocent
Naive.
again. Yeah,
Hmm.
and seemingly unaware that she is a host. Because at first we're
Yes.
starting, I'm like, okay, she's just playing
Right.
life,
She's calling herself
playing.
Christina.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting how, yeah, how this goes.
Hmm.
Um, and then I guess I'm worried about in the next one. Looks like we're going to be talking about um, Bernard. And I thought in the last season, Bernard's storyline was one of the weakest, unfortunately, because I
Hmm.
like Bernard, but he was pretty worthless. He was emasculated a lot. He like would go over these places and do nothing. He was
Hmm.
with the bodyguard that did nothing. It really felt like there was not much accomplished. And I forget how it ended exactly, but he was with the like putting the headpiece on and like a
Hmm.
lot of time passed. So are we
Yes.
going to like be I don't know where we're gonna go. I just I hope that that storyline that they're bringing in because I'm happy with the storylines we have right now. So they're
Hmm.
bringing this one in. Hopefully, it's meaningful and better than where we saw him last season.
Yeah, because yeah, I'm also similarly concerned. I liked Bernard as a character for a while, and I liked him like finding out about himself and like the big
Trippy, yeah,
reveal that he himself is a host, and like
mhm. It's all
that
great.
it was so strong. And then yeah, season 3 fell apart. I do like the security guy, Ashley something
Yeah.
Stubbs,
Yep.
I
That sounds
think.
right.
I thought he actually had like a slightly stronger storyline than Bernard because he like had the whole like sacrificial thing going on. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to see them back, but I need a strong storyline. These are two great actors who have done some good
Yeah,
things, especially Bernard.
yeah,
So give him a storyline worthy of his time.
yep. I always liked the Bernard that was the like I don't know what how to describe him, but he was like calm, cool, collected,
Hmm.
wise. And I understand how it's jarring to then switch to like on the run and kind of scared and different, but I never
Hmm.
liked that Bernard.
Mm-mm.
Um, and I don't know. So I hope we can I don't know, he finds himself or whatever. We find out who Bernard really is when he's just himself more.
Right. Well, because I mean, it's hard to like put pieces back together sometimes, but
Yeah.
he's a copy of one of the original park's
The
founders,
founders.
correct?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Arnold.
Arnold, that's right. So I feel like there's a potential for him to find himself in posing Hale Loris and maybe helping Dolores Christina find herself.
Yeah.
There's maybe some potential there for, like, a strong storyline, but it would I don't know. You have to write it well.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
not only does Bernard have to, like, settle into an acceptance of himself as Arnold, which I don't think we ever really fully got.
right.
He has to get there, but then he also, like, maybe has to fight Hale, maybe has to help Dolores, maybe something else that I'm not thinking of, I don't know.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
he needs a purpose other than just like, "Okay, I'm Arnold."
Yeah. Right. Mm. All right. Well, anything else we really missed from the first two episodes?
Um, I don't think so.
There's a
Yeah.
lot, but ultimately, I'm much more excited at the way this season has opened
Mhm.
versus last season. And though I'm worried, I'm hopeful. Like we've got interesting questions being asked that I'm ready to find out what the answer is and go on that ride.
Right. Yeah. Season 3, it was an interesting premise, but unfortunately poorly executed. There were glimmers, there were pieces that were cool. The base concept I liked, but it was too much, too sprawling, too divided, like you said, too actiony. It was too out of the Westworld park. It was too much. It was too
Yep.
many things. So this season feels like more contained, and
Because
that's where I think it does well.
I mean, obviously it's simplifying, but I feel like season one was really asking how would humans react if we had made machines, robots that were so lifelike that we couldn't tell the difference. How would we
Hmm.
react? How would we respond to that? Season 2 was really about like what does it mean to be human?
Hmm.
And where does the line blur
Hmm.
there and back and forth?
Yeah.
And in
If
fact,
our robots like start to learn what we've done to them, is it right for them to like be seeking revenge and justice
yeah.
because they're potentially human too, in a
Mhm.
way?
And addressing the simplicity of humans, like how
Mhm.
really predictable they are and how a little amount of code can be, used to describe a person.
Mhm.
Moving to season 3, it's like, okay, the idea is um, we think for the betterment of the planet and for the species, we can kind of create an all-encompassing AI that can monitor everyone and decide what's the best way forward. and
Mhm.
and there's
W
some people that are not going to play nice with this system, and we have to get rid of them but everybody else we can kind of fit into this system and understand how, and then we can now plan out the best course of action. And so
Mhm.
then it's just, our heroes deciding that that's not the way we want to deal with the chaos of freedom versus that kind of structured control. So I love the premise. I love the topic. That's why I like. There was still lots to talk about with the season, but I just like you say, it wasn't handled well.
Mm-mm.
So yeah. All right,
All right, good job,
Westworld.
Westworld. Season
Yeah,
4 opening. Are on a
yeah,
right path.
right. All right, ready. That'll be it from us. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, all those things. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you like. Um, yeah, share it with again all your coworkers, whatever your friends and family.
Find us on a
Take your
podcast directory.
Yep, leave a review. That's helpful if you can. And then Killing the Flower. They wrote our theme song, so check them out on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. And that'll be it from us this week. We'll be back again with The Boys. We got the latest season of that, episodes 3 and 4 to cover. So yeah, please look forward to it. And otherwise, Andrea, thanks again for joining me.
Of course. Cheers, everybody.